Welcome to Bothell-Beat, a show about what's happening around the community of Bothell. I'm Joy Johnston, your host and Public Information Officer for the City of Bothell. I'm here at the beautiful park at Bothell Landing, and I'm standing at the Lydell House. We're going to learn more about the Lydell House later in the show. We're also going to learn about Bothell's Public Works Department. We'll have an interview with Councilmember Del Spivey, and we'll visit Bothell's past in a segment about the North Creek Schoolhouse. But first, we're going to learn more about recycling here in Bothell. Ever wonder what happens to your recycling after it gets hauled away? Does it really all get sorted and processed for other uses? The good news is that it does. I recently had the opportunity to visit Waste Management's Cascade Recycling Center, where all of that sorting and processing happens to the tune of 550 tons per day. Cascade Recycling Center receives mixed recyclables from over 250,000 homes in the Puget Sound area, including Bothell. The recyclables arrive by truck and are piled into mounds at least 2 stories high. A crane drops the materials onto the starting point for a labyrinth of conveyor belts that rise and stretch through the 52,000 square foot facility. Paddle wheels, magnetic belts, and even a high-tech optical reader pick up, brush off, or drop materials according to type. At certain points, the materials are sorted by hand as conveyor belts rush past workers in neon green hard hats and vests. Waste Management's strong commitment to safety and efficiency keeps the process humming day after day. In the final process, recyclables are strapped together by type into bundles the size of Mini Coopers. Those bundles are then shipped away to both domestic and international markets. Newspaper makes up the largest percentage of the materials at 47%. Followed by glass at 19% and cardboard at 13%. Glass is the one product that stays in Washington State. Waste Management only sends 5% of what it collects to landfills. The most important thing is that people recycle, period. However, if you'd like to make the recycling process go more smoothly, here are some things you can do. Reuse plastic bags or take them to the grocery store or to collection containers at City Hall or the city's Dawson building. Please don't put them in the recycling bin. Make sure containers are empty. You don't have to scrub them perfectly clean, but a half-full can of tomato sauce can really wreak havoc on paper and cardboard, ruining them for other uses. Do something else with shredded paper. Use it as packing materials or animal bedding, layer it in your yard waste cart, or compost it. But please don't put it in the recycling. It's nearly impossible to sort and is often so mixed with other materials like little credit card bits that it doesn't have very much value. Alternately, you can bring your sensitive records to Bothell's twice-yearly document destruction event. For more information about recycling, please visit bothellcool.org or wmnorthwest.com. Thanks again to Waste Management for the tour of the Cascade Recycling Center and for all of that valuable information about recycling. Next, we're going to be visiting the staff of Bothell's Public Works Department and learning more about what they do.
I'm Sabrina Combs, the Recycling and Public Services Projects Administrator for the City of Bothell.
I'm Sherman Gong, and I'm the City Transportation Planner.
Hi, I'm Chad with the City of Bothell Public Works. I'm a maintenance worker.
My name is Janet Gear, and I work with the Surface Water Division. I'm a Surface Water Program Coordinator.
Hi, I'm Rick Jones, Recreation Coordinator for the City of Bothell.
My name is Steve Morikawa. I'm a Capital Division Manager.
My name is Erin Lenhard. I'm the City of Bothell Public Works Director. The Public Works Department is responsible for the city's infrastructure, and this goes from this operation and maintenance of the city's parks and streets and water and sewer and stormwater, as well as capital projects, much like the bridge I'm standing on right now, as well as parks and recreation programming and maintenance.
I love my job because I get to work with citizens and teach them about sustainability, recycling, and going green in general, which is a lot of fun.
I'm generally the first contact for most people for their transportation and traffic concerns, and I'm also in charge of the city's traffic calming program, as well as the collector and corridor safety program.
The most rewarding thing at the end of the day is the people that I've worked with, knowing that we do a great job serving the people here in the city of Bothell, and knowing that I can go home and be proud of what I do here. This is a great community.
My job entails programming for youth and adults, summer camps for youth, special events, and just basically providing fun for the City of Bothell residents.
I'm in charge of a group of engineers, civil engineers and inspectors who design and build all the infrastructure for the City of Bothell.
I work to protect and restore local streams and wetlands by doing education and outreach for residents, businesses, the general public, and providing volunteer opportunities and just ways that we can work together to protect our natural resources.
Yeah, what I like about my job most is that I am the first contact for most residents and the community when it comes to their traffic concerns, and I think with my experience and background and coming up with some great solutions is I think what I like best about it.
I think what I like about my job is I get to do everything. I just mentioned everything we worked on, and we get to do it cradle to grave. In other words, we're there from the concept, so we kind of figure out what we're going to do and what is needed. We get to design the thing, permit it, and we actually even administer our own construction contracts. So we get to do everything in there. And one of the nice things is the people I work with, the engineers and inspectors, I've kind of talked to them about it too, what they like about their job, and pretty much everybody says the same thing. They like to do kind of everything.
I would say the best thing that I love about my job is that I get to work directly with people all day, and the things that we give them to do, the tools that they can use, actually have a real difference on our water quality. So it's really neat to know that you can give these little things that everybody can do every day, and they can make a really big difference together. I love that. I go home feeling like I make a difference.
The thing I love about my job is just knowing that I'm providing just new opportunities, fun, excitement, ability to get out and do things for the residents.
One of the things I like the most here about my job is the people that I work with and the city that I work in.
I love the City of Bothell because the citizens are great. I have enjoyed working for this community because people come up to me, they ask me questions, they help me learn what helps them do a better job, and they also have events where I'm able to come out and talk to them one-on-one and help them learn how to do things better. So they're really great, and it's just fun to have some of these engaging opportunities where we can hang out and learn more and also become a more sustainable community overall.
I like Bothell. Bothell's really forward thinking, and we have a lot going on right now, which provides us a real big opportunity to be a part of the future as well as remembering the past.
What I love about Bothell is how tight this community is and how everybody here just supports everything that the city does when it comes to anything from the downtown vision to their local sports teams.
What I love about the city right now is just all that we're going through, the potential. I think Bothell's already a great place to be, and I live here myself, but I see a lot of potential and I'm excited about it.
I love my job. I think Public Works is a really critical part to any community. I think without the vital services that we provide, I really don't think that there's a chance for civilization to exist. So I feel pretty strongly about Public Works.
Thanks to Bothell's Public Works Department for taking the time out of their busy schedules to share about what they do in Public Works. Next, I had the privilege to sit down with Councilmember Lydell Spivey to learn what it means to serve his community as a council member in the City of Bothell. I'm here with Councilmember Lydell Spivey. We're going to get to know our council member a little better. We're here at Tandem Wine Bar. It's here in downtown Bothell. It was opened in August of 2010, and it's run by a husband and wife team. They serve beautiful dinners here 7 days a week. Let's get to know our council member. So, Lydell, thank you so much for meeting with me here today. How long have you lived in Bothell?
I've lived in Bothell a couple times. My family moved here when I was a young lad in the mid-60s. And then I took off for a year of college at WSU in the early 80s, and then came back. And right after my wife and I got married in 86, we, for a couple of years, lived in the Lake Stevens area. And then we moved back down here in the early 90s and been back here ever since. So overall, 40 plus years here in Bothell.
Great. So Del, what do you do for a living?
I work for the Bellevue Fire Department. I've been there since 1995. I started my fire service career as a volunteer here in Bothell back in 1980. And I got hired with Fire District 25 in 1986, end of 86, and we merged with City of Renton in 93, and then I had the opportunity to go to Bellevue, and I've been there ever since.
So besides your time at work and as a council member, what do you do in your free time?
My free time? Well, currently I sit on the board with the North Shore Senior Center. I also am on the staff for the football team at Bothell High School. In the past, I've done some volunteer work with Maywood and Camp Casey when my kids were younger, and then even after they left the school there. And then I enjoy hunting and fishing, camping, and there's always the honey-do list at home, as well as just family stuff. So those are the things that I enjoy on my time off.
That's great. Well, what made you decide to run for city council?
Well, work that I had done with my union at work, some people had approached me about running for state office, actually, and I turned them down. I just wasn't what I was looking for or anything like that. And then at one point I was asked if I could fill in for somebody that possibly wasn't going to return, and I talked to my family about it, and the timing was wrong. And then I was approached by some community members to run for city council, and I said, well, I got to talk to my family, and when I did, they said, yeah, go for it. So that's kind of how I got started, and it was just people coming to me and asking me if I'd be involved in the community.
What are the most important issues to you?
As when I first ran, and even now, is we got to manage our growth in a positive way. Any organization that isn't growing it's truly they're dying. You can't maintain the status quo. So if we grow in a positive way to keep Bothell, and we manage ourselves in such a way that people want to continue to come here, just like they have in the past. And I think we're doing that with our downtown redevelopment and the businesses that are coming into that. We're creating a new feel for the next century of Bothell, and I enjoy laying the groundwork for that, or helping to lay the groundwork for that. The environmental things that we've addressed, they've been really good. Those are important. As somebody that enjoys the outdoors, that's important to me. But mostly it's just helping to lay the groundwork for the next 50 to 100 years. And I think as a council as a whole, we're doing a really good job of that.
What do you like about Bothell?
To me, what's not to like? I enjoy Main Street. I Pop Keeney Stadium on a Friday night. There's nothing more that says small town more than being down there when one of the three high schools is playing on a Friday night during football season. Go to any one of the high schools for baseball, or back down to the stadium for a soccer game in the spring and the fall. It's just that says small town like nothing else in the area. That's one of the big things I enjoy. And like I say, Main Street, and just having grown up here, there's just the memories for me of things that used to be, and then also knowing what's coming. Bothell's got a lot of great hidden treasures, I'd call them. Where we're sitting here today, Tandem is one of those new hidden treasures that's come about. We've got other great eateries in town. We've got some wonderful parks. Our proximity to so much in the Puget Sound region. We're very centrally located to do all kinds of things, and that's what just makes part of living in Bothell be kind of great. It's not far to Stevens, it's not far to Snoqualmie. It's a hop, skip, and a jump, and you're in Port Townsend or Port Angeles. You're a bus ride away from downtown Seattle. So it's just a great vibe. With the colleges that we got here in town, and just our proximity to everything, and then we got a great local history here. So those are a lot of things that I enjoy about Bothell.
Great. Last question.
All right.
What advice would you give to citizens who might want to be more active in the community?
I've been asked this several times by high school students and all that do a little project for community service or different things, and really it's just pick something you enjoy to get involved with. And if you enjoy our parks up next time it's available, apply to the Parks Board. You don't have to jump in to City Council or Planning Commissioners. We have lots of great boards and commissions where you can get involved in. Your homeowners association, volunteering at the senior center, volunteer at the library. Just get involved anywhere and learn as much as you can about where you volunteer, because you may go in to volunteer for one specific reason and then realize that there's all this other area that you could get involved with. A lot of these organizations, they have a need to go to Olympia and lobby the Hill, and what a great opportunity to go down and meet your state electeds down there, and a wonderful learning experience. And you could take a couple tours while you're down there, the Capitol, of the grounds in the spring and summertime when everything's in bloom. So volunteering and just getting involved at a smaller level can lead to a lot of great things at a higher level.
Well, thanks. This has been great to get to know you better. Thank you so much, Councilmember Spivey.
Well, thanks, Joy, for having me.
And thanks also to Tandem Wine Bar for hosting us today. They serve 5-course wine pairings once a month, so check them out at tandemwinebar.com. Thanks again. Next, we're going to go back in time and learn about Bothell's historical North Creek Schoolhouse.
The historic North Creek Schoolhouse is a rare, intact example of a one-room school building and one of the few remaining in Washington. Built in 1902, the school served as an education building for 18 years. It was later used as a community center and home of the Canyon Park Community Club. There is another preserved schoolhouse in Bothell, Bothell's first schoolhouse, built in 1885 and now standing at the park at Bothell Landing. However, the North Creek Schoolhouse is much closer to its original condition. Both schools represent a period of Washington's pioneer history, prior to the consolidation of educational services, when each community took responsibility for providing facilities for local children. One of the early teachers at the North Creek Schoolhouse was Charles Beardsley, who arrived from New York in 1888. He organized the Bothell Cornet Band and was one of the founders of the Bothell State Bank. He was also known for going fishing with his North Creek Schoolhouse students during recess. Private owners Bill and Peggy Van Adder donated the building to the city so that it could be relocated and preserved. It was relocated in 2008 from its original site to Bothell Centennial Park.
Well, the building came into the ownership of the Bill and Peggy Van Adder, a longtime Bothell residents. And in the early 90s, they approached the city about donating it. They wanted it preserved. That's their primary goal, is to have it preserved and made available for the community to use. So there was a restoration study done in the 90s that showed the building was in sound condition and represented an important part of our history. It was placed on the national and local historic registries at that time. And then things sort of lapsed for a while. I got on the park board in 2004, and Bill approached me. We were longtime friends, and he mentioned the school. I was unaware of it at the time. And he took me out there, and I was first kind of thrown off by all the blackberries. Then we went inside. It was just full of junk. But I could see beyond that there was a real jewel here that the city really needed to preserve. So I went back to the park board, and we got together with the landmarks board and jointly approached the city about moving this forward again. And then the city agreed that we should make it part of the park. This park was planned, this park here was originally called Thrasher's Corner Regional Park. And it had an interpretive center as part of the plan. And it hit me that we could use the schoolhouse for the interpretive center. The other problem with preserving the schoolhouse on its original site was that through road expansions on 228th and 31st, there wasn't sufficient land left to really make it a usable facility on that site. So it had to be moved if we were going to save it. And then in November of 2008, the building was picked up off its site, moved about 1.5 miles here. It's oriented 180 degrees from the way it was at the other site, but still has that north-south axis with the sun coming in from the windows. We were able to restore the outside of the building, and now we're working on getting funding to complete the renovation of the inside.
It's really important to remember about the school as it was moved over to this location is we have no original photographs of the interiors. We have a few of the exterior. Now that said, it's remarkable that this building has such an intact interior as a historical significance, because we've got the original beadboard, we've got original chalk trays. Okay, the slates are gone, but we know where the chimney location was for the stove. We've got the raised dais so the teachers could stand up a little higher than the class. We've got the original cloakrooms. One of them was changed and modified to be like a little service area when it was used as a community center, but they're still there. This is really an important feature of this building and why it's so historically significant to the community, as well as it gives us an archetype for historical significance of the types of things that went into a building like this for our schools. We have the high windows, the high bay windows that allowed natural light throughout the year, so the kids did not have to have lights on because the electricity was added later. And as you all know, in the Northwest, it's a little gloomy in the winter. You want as much light as you can get. Then for years, we didn't have a lot of windows in schools. Now we're back to it as part of the green movement, and our designs incorporate these things into our schools. This building is just a beautiful example of our early education buildings, and we're really fortunate to have it in the community. A lot of what's here just needs to be cleaned up. We need to go back and remove some of the scaffolding and things that are in here that were not part of the original school. What we need to establish, though, is that it's going to cost us about $60,000 to do this, and we are taking donations. We have about $13,000 in the account toward that 60. Now, to do that, we're looking for donations where proceeds at this point from the Then and Now book are going toward the school, as well as the sale of the medallions that feature the school on them, the pewter medallions that the board and the city are selling at this time. We're also looking at grants, and we're looking at in-kind donations of materials and labor from people who can contribute and have some background in historical renovation.
And we see this as a real resource for the community. We want people to be able to come and enjoy the schoolhouse, learn about its history. We plan to have interpretive panels and things like that describing its history, but also we want it to be functional. The schoolhouse we have down at the Park at Bothell Landing is restored as a schoolhouse. It's a great museum, but it's not very useful for other purposes. We're not going to do that here. The plan is to make this available as a community center for various kinds of meetings and activities that the community wants to engage in.
North Creek Schoolhouse is located at Centennial Park, just off the Bothell-Everett Highway at 208th Street Southeast. To learn more and to donate to the project, you can visit www.ci.bothell.wa.us or call 425-486-8152.
Thanks so much to the Landmark Preservation Board and to Bothell's Historical Society for their help in that segment about the North Creek Schoolhouse. Next, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we're going to be taking a closer look at the Lydell House here at the Park at Bothell Landing. To tell us more about this great city asset, here's Pat Parkhurst of Bothell Parks and Recreation.
So the Lydell House is in the Park at Bothell Landing. It was initially a home on Main Street that was owned by Dr. Lydell. He used it as his home and his clinic. It was moved down to the park in the late 1970s and served as a senior center. Today it serves as the offices for the City of Bothell's Parks and Recreation, as well as a mini community center where we offer recreation classes. On the weekends, the building's available to the community for rent for family activities, weddings, birthday parties, baby showers, any kind of family activity you might want to have. So to rent the facility, you would be able to contact the Parks and Recreation office or go online, and there's an application form available along with the fees. We prefer that you come and take a tour of the site and visit to see all the amenities that are in the building, the kitchen, the tables, the chairs, so you have a good feeling for what's available before you come. When you rent the facility, it also includes a staff person who's on site during your entire event to answer any questions and deal with any emergencies that may come up. You are responsible for all the cleanup and setup. Currently we have a limitation of 50 people per rental. It's due to really restricted parking that we have down at the Park of Bothell Landing right now. In addition, no alcohol and no flames. That means no birthday candles, no sterno. That's due to the historic nature of the building. So we'd like you to consider the Lydell House as kind of your home away from home when you need an extended space for that family activity. And for more information, you can check out the city's website at www.ci.bothell.wa.us.
Thanks for watching this edition of Bothell-Beat. You can watch this show and other great programming on BCTV Channel 21 and 26. You can also catch us on YouTube. For Bothell-Beat, I'm Joy Johnston. See you next time.